This is a Ditch Witch 3500 trencher. It's made by Clover, and it's in 1/43rd scale. Now you notice I said 1/43rd scale there. It's a little bit big. If you had it on the shelf with all your other 1/50th, equipment, it's going to look out of place. Like next to the Bobcat, it looks huge. Put it next to a truck though. Next to the truck, it's almost passable. Almost. I mean, you can see it's a lot bigger than it should be if you were trying to make it 1/50th scale, which you just can't. It's just too big. Most people don't care about that kind of thing, but some people do. They like to have all their scales together, on the shelf or in the case or whatever. And if you have this in there, it's going to look out of place. And if you try to separate it, it's probably going to be pretty lonely. There's not too many models out there in 1/43rd scale. But at the same time, it makes it a pretty unique model. There's not a whole lot of Ditch Witch diecast out there. And Clover did a pretty good job on this. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I mean, just looking at it, it's got a fair amount of detail to it. Like the motor looks pretty good. You got your wheel weights back here. The trencher bar looks pretty good. The backhoe on the front looks pretty good. It's really not that bad. The only thing that's really kind of disappointing is the stabilizers here. Like the casting's pretty good, but they just don't move. They're fixed in place. And that's a little bit disappointing. The backhoe itself has a pretty good range of motion, to be honest. For what it is, it really ain't bad. Which is nice. The blade will almost hold itself up, just won't quite do it. Operator station is, about as basic and bare as can be. It's really not that much more on the real machine than there is on the model here. Say what you will about Ditch Witch, but they are some pretty simple machines. Now, as far as the trencher here on the back, they actually did a pretty good job with it. If you look really close, you can see that every individual trencher tooth, it faces the opposite direction, just like it does on a real bar there, which is cool. And you got the little auger there for your dirt to push it away from the ditch, and it of course comes down just like it should, which is nice, and it'll hold itself up. So overall, it's definitely not a bad model. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of Ditch Witch out there. So it's definitely, if you see one, it's worth buying. Definitely not very common to find either. They're just, I don't know if they're just not terribly popular, or they there weren't a lot made. But like I said, it's unusual to see one come up for sale. So it's one of those ones where it's good to keep an eye on it, if you're looking for one, because you might not see it again for a year or two. Anyway, that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. If you'd like to see more of what we have, please subscribe to Maryland Construction Diecast. And as always, thanks for watching.